sun is out. I keep bunny prints. Get up in the morning and I pray the sun comes out. So very thankful, because it totally heats the dome. In fact, like I said, it's 8 degrees out, and by about 9 o'clock in the morning when the sun starts hitting us, it's already climbing up to 50, 55 the last I looked. All right, and once I get in there, I'm gonna have to wait. Uh-oh. The camera just made a weird noise. I hope it's still recording. It's hard to tell. Whew. I hope it's still recording. There it is. Now my lens is gonna fog up. Darn it, I don't see the red button. Oh yeah, it is recording. Whew. It's cold. But I noted the other day there's just a few ice cubes or icicles coming down, which is a good sign. That means compared to years past, there used to be ginormous ice coming off this thing. And I'm very sure it's because we did new strapping to hold the outside cover on. Now that does make a big difference. And we'll just walk over. I'll show you what the look at that. I used to have a whole wall of ice cubes over here a couple of years ago before we redid the strap. Now I don't, thank goodness. All right, so here's the heater from the outside, propane heater. The little box thing is a thing my husband invented. So literally in the middle of the night, the app he made will go off if the heater's having a hard time starting or whatever, and he can remotely restart the heater if needed from the app, which has been a lifesaver. I feel so bad I'm complaining. I'm tired because I keep hearing the beeper go off because it's been so cold. It's like negative, which isn't the norm for here. But thank God he doesn't have to walk out here. We don't have to walk out here and mess with it. He can do it remotely. And with all that, he thinks he knows why, or he has a solution idea to help the problem with why the furnace keeps the igniter or something. It's like it comes on and freezes or something. I don't know the technical, but anyways, it's pretty cool. We did that. I'm just gonna walk around again. Whew, it's cold. I am bundled too, but it is cold. Okay, now there's a few ice cubes over here, but makes me wonder if this sun's getting through or something. Just a little. Interesting. This side would have been melted anyhow. So there she is. All right, so I'm gonna go in and it'll be a little bit before I record again because my lens always freezes up. We got some little critters hopping around out here. Birdies. Looks like there's been a bird. All right, here we go. Into the dome. Okay, so when that happens, what you want to do is kind of tap it. My bottom is still... Yeah, you don't want to just whip that off. So just kind of go around and... I'm going to have to turn the camera off. It took quite a few taps down there. Iced up. You can actually see the ice, so it's coming. Some humidity is getting through there. All right, I'm going to frost up. But here it is real quick before it does. Oh, my glasses frost up too, so... Give me a second here. We'll get this camera cooled off and do some more recording. All right, I think the camera has cleared and I can start doing a little recording in the dome here where it is a nice 56 degrees. thanks to the sun. Thank you, sun. Please keep shining. It's right there. Don't let these branches fool you. These are my pomegranate, and they will look like this until about, end of February-ish. Yeah, they're just dormant and they drop their leaves. And this whole thing will be green. In fact, I'm debating if I want to prune it this year because it looks so pretty nice and tall. But I didn't get any fruit off of it, so I'm not sure. I'll play it by ear and see what happens, but it looks great. And this is my goji berry. This thing just loves being over here in the corner. Full sun. Here's what the gojis look like. This plastic and a little rough green. I want to be careful because that's just a cheap plastic I got on there to help insulate, and it's doing its job. It's definitely doing its job. The tea tree keeps green, and I just laid some plastic over my citrus just because I panic. It was cold the other day, and I just thought, I'm just gonna give them a little blanket. They look fine. You guys happy under there? Yeah, look, there's even some little buds. I need to clean up a little bit though, as the sun comes out. They're getting really hot, and there's actually some dead stuff you want to pull out. But otherwise, I'm gonna keep this on just because we got another couple days. Really cold overnight, and this will just keep that heat nice and in there for them, and a little bit doesn't hurt with that. All right, I'm gonna go to the other side of the dome and crank out a vlog, hopefully. There we go. Hey guys, it's me, Bren, and I'm out in the dome today. It's been a while since I did a quick video vlog sharing with you what I've got growing on in here, and I wanted to share a little bit with you about what I hope to bring you in the new year here. Got some hat hair going on because it is 8 degrees outside, which thankfully is like a heat wave. It only got up to about 2 yesterday during the day when the sun was out, but in the dome here, the awesome thing is it actually got up to about 50 degrees, so that's awesome thanks to the sun. So all right, so let's see here. It is actually, checking my weather app, it is 9 degrees. Oh, I don't know if you can see that on there. 9 degrees outside, and inside, according to my temperature, I've got a little device in here where I can read it. Oh my goodness, it did get up to 58, and I think a lot of that has to do with, it was about 55 when I got in here. The sun actually has been getting a little lower, even though we're about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Being inside the structure actually helps a whole lot. It brings, just having yourself out here and being able to use it to enjoy the green, and it smells like spring in here. It really does. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to get comfortable and share a little bit with you on this vlog. I hope to do more of these this year, just quick, unedited. I'm not going to edit this, hopefully, because it takes too long. And I just want to get this information up quickly because I've got a lot growing on, and I also want to share this with you. So be sure to send me comments if you're watching this on YouTube. If you are checking this out on my blog at brenhaas.com, be sure to comment or hit the connect button, and you can send me a message on there if you don't want it posted on my blog. You just want to ask the question, but with that you'll have to put your email so I can email you back. So anyhow, it's good to be in here talking to you, sharing with you what I have in store for the new year. Hopefully we'll see how things go. Last year was an amazing growing season. I did a lot of video. I didn't get nearly half of it up just because I was so busy growing so much here. Me and my husband have lived out here for it will be 21 years now. In February, when we came out here from the city, little city here in Ohio, moved out here to the country, surrounded by farms and wood. Our property luckily has some nice mature trees, woods, It definitely used to be the black swamp out here, but we've done a little bit over the years too to help with that as far as tiling and cleaning things up and stuff like that. And that in itself is a whole nother vlog. I will be honest with you, the dome, I have been nervous the last couple of days, just a little bit, just because I think when people share things online about their greenhouses or their domes or whatever, they don't really share with you that there is a little bit of a cost factor in these, despite, not to mention you're going to build it, which costs a little bit. This is probably the cheapest way to go, is being able to go to the Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's, whatever you choose, or your local lumber store, and buying the treated lumber. And of course plastics, that's a whole nother story. Luckily I was gifted the stuff that's on my wrap on the outside, and that's been a blessing, and I love it, I really do. But it comes this time of year, if you decide to grow things in here like I have in here, tropical succulents, things like that, you really do have to have a backup heat source. The cheapest one we found is using the propane heater. I've talked about it a few times on my videos. In fact, we started using a propane heater back 2009 with my traditional greenhouse. I guess you call it traditional. It's a house, greenhouse, little 10 by 12 that we put up in late 2009, and we used an RV heater in there, which was propane. This is another propane heater, not necessarily for an RV, but it's one my husband found on Craigslist or something. And we've kind of tweaked it a bit, and it works great. And I spend roughly each winter season about $200, maybe a little bit more this year because costs have gone up a bit. Every winter season, just to keep things alive in here, which for me is well worth it. My biggest thing now with getting older is I'm starting to think about you know, what if we can't do the maintenance ourselves on things like, say, a panel pops off or something, and then we're looking at some more costs. So when we go to rebuild this, hopefully, if we end up doing that, I hope we do, we'll see. You'll have to follow my journey. Really need to think about that. Like, you know, you're gonna be in this for at least 10 to 15 more years. The structure itself, I give the structure, even with the wood that's used on the inside for this frame, this thing would probably stand another probably 20 years. It's already been up 8 years, and it's not treated lumber. That's a whole nother video, really. I keep saying that, don't I? But the new structure we hope to build, which I don't want to talk too much about it because, you know, we'll see what the cards play if we end up doing that or not. It will be out of treated lumber. This lumber, to make the shape of the 20-foot geodesic biodome, is just regular lumber that we painted with a stain. So that's something to think about, and we didn't really think about that. I think I was just so excited to have one of these of my own that I wasn't really thinking long term, like, is it going to hold up? And actually in the beginning, I think I was mostly just considering that I was just going to use this without a heater, just use passive heat alone and see how much you can grow in here, because really you could grow a lot in here just using basic passive heat, which is everything from having the rocks that are in here, the soil, the trees, the containers, just all that stuff kind of collects the energy and whatnot from the sun, and which is really awesome. And I'd love to do that one day as well, whether it be a hoop house or something like this. But I guess we just got so excited that I had this space. I didn't want to heat my regular greenhouse anymore because I was spending all my time in here the first couple of months, that we just decided, you know what, let's put some heat in here and move the cactuses in here. I just smashed one of those little bugs that looks like a mosquito. We get those out here a lot. I think my husband calls them midges or something. I don't know. But they look just like mosquitoes. In fact, they'll land on you, but they don't bite. And I don't see any evidence of anything bad going on. So I think all the bugs that I do have in here, except maybe a few, I do have a little scale on one of my hibiscus over there. Everything that is in here, the different bugs that are in here, are actually doing a good job at keeping it a happy environment in here, which is one of the reasons I love being in here compared to like a greenhouse. The greenhouse that we had was totally different. The floor was block and stone. I've got stone in here, but this is mostly basically the outside with a big dome over the top of it, which is pretty cool. All right, so anyhow, I don't want to talk too much because I do want to show you around in here and give you a look at the plants, you know. Anyways, okay, so I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to show you. I'm actually, I'm almost, no, I'm not quite, I'm almost in the middle. The geodesic biodome sits, it's a 20-foot dome, and it sits on a 3-foot knee wall. And so here, the upper half. I see a little bit up in here, up on the north facing, that some of the snow is kind of collecting on that panel, which could be a bad thing, could be a good thing. It's kind of insulating. That one is too. And I don't remember it doing it so much like that last year, but I think it's because we went through and it looks a little rough, but we basically took an inside plastic window covering, heavy house plastic, and folded it and stapled it to form a little pocket, the pockets in each one of these panels, and that's doing a great job. It doesn't look the best, but it's doing its job for now, and the goal is actually to have that removed next year, and we're hoping to rebuild the structure, but that's a whole nother, we'll see. So there's that. I want to take you over here. Not everything looks super perfect, but also remember everything is either dead or dormant outside, so this is a fun place. You'll see a few little aphids still zooming around because they are loving this heat that's in here right now, the warmth. This is just like a perfect growing space, but I love these. I've got my little succulent. These are fun. This is a little cement made. They took and made this in a muffin pan. I keep wanting to do that, but I get busy with my 3D printer that I just don't have time to do that right now. I'm sure it's easy to do, but isn't that cute? I just have this sitting in with just a, oh, this spider plant. You might think, what the heck? It's just a green spider plant. I'm excited about this one because this actually came from my white variegated spider plant, and I'm able to, I've been taking the babies and making more of just the green, which is kind of neat because it came from, I never bought one of those, and no, it came from my variegated one. I have no clue what this is called, but I found it at a garden center. This is my second winter with it. I bought it last autumn, 2 years ago, and I love it. This stuff loves it in here. It is crazy. It's like a weed, kind of. It's easy to propagate and use in other plants, and I like using it as like a live mulch in a lot of my plants. But just look how fun that is. It's so nice to come out and just smell this and look at it. It's green, it's warm. It's like your own little conservatory here, botanical garden thing going on. So I noticed yesterday one of my succulents behind the cactus, flapjack I think this guy's called, and see, he's got a nice little live mulch around him too, and that helps keep it, I think that helps keep it happy, certain plants. I used to lose this one every winter. But it's doing great. As you can tell, it's liking it here. The leaves feel cool, but not too bad. I noticed the tops on this one back here kind of just didn't do well. It froze off or something, or it just got too wet. In fact, you want to remove things like that. And then I need to come through and just clip this off, because look what ends up happening anyways. There's some new growth going on. That's kind of fun to see. If you look back there, I got Christmas cactus still blooming. And just a few of my favorites. In another month here, toward the end of February, I will actually end up coming in here and you'll see where new babies have sprouted. And before it gets too warm in here, I like to divide these and put them in their own little containers to either give to friends or just keep growing in here and then use them in containers out in my yard later this year. But I wait until about the end of February when the sun's up a little higher and it's a little warmer. But I just love all my little succulents. We'll get down in here and look at them. They're not perfect right now, but they're hanging in there and they'll look so much more vibrant, like I said, in another month here. But it's just fun to have that. All right, so I could basically go on and on 24/7 streaming about what I got going on out here and just letting you see the cool plants and the fun collection I've acquired over the years just from seed or being given or purchasing locally at garden centers. Or there's a couple of things I picked up when we were in out of state doing stuff. Like my kumquat over there. I actually got that up in Texas a few years ago when we went down to Texas just at the beginning of the COVID lockdown things and picked up some fruit trees that we had ordered. We just went and picked them up. The pluots, new pluots that we have growing. That's a whole nother video too. But I want to show you some edibles while I'm on the subject of that. Just a couple of things that are doing fairly well in here. I need to focus a little more on the cool crops and starting them at the right time in here, because you can grow them in here. I was just kind of a little lazy about that this year while I was busy inside with the hydroponics. So let me show you what's down here. Can do that easily. So what I did here is I dug up from my raised beds, name it, Swiss chard. And I just kind of cut it back, and I've actually taken a little bit. We got a couple of bugs zooming around there. They're not hurting anything, so mostly what they're probably enjoying is that dead stuff I need to get out of there. About a week ago I cut a bunch of this and brought it in for, I like to use it in soups, and I also use it in salads. Really yummy. This one was over in the corner getting just a little too cold. I need to cut it back to encourage some new growth. But Swiss chard does amazing in here. So does kale. But I don't have any kale in here. I don't think. I did start in my hydroponic. This was from my hydroponics in the house. I brought it out and potted it up, and it's doing pretty good. It got a little weepy. It's one of my seeds that has a couple different plants in one seed pod. It's called Wonder Walk, I think is a seed. I have to look that up. I always forget. It's a real good one though. I like cutting these off. I use it in soups and even stir fry this. I think it's a cabbage. It tastes like cabbage. It's really good. Maybe it's like, it almost looks like a bok choy, doesn't it? This one's yummy. See the little growth in here? It's like a fennel, I bet. Oh, it's a mustard. That's good. It's so good. But I need more of this. It's just I was busy growing it indoors. So you want to just get in and clean up a little bit. This whole tray could actually be full of it. I did end up putting some lettuce seed back in here the same time I started stuff in the house, but this one's not doing as well just because it's cool. It's really cool. It gets down to about 40 up here and not a lot of sun, so it's not really kicking it in yet. It will eventually. I just don't want to add more heat. You could do that. I put some baby romaine seeds in here about 2 weeks ago. It's still not sprouting, but it's kind of dormant. It's chilly. That soil's got to be warm. Look at this though. I did bring a baby tomato plant out here from my hydroponic. This was one of those air garden cherry tomato. He's still alive. He's not dead. He seems to like it. And this will definitely kick it in another month here. So I'll have to do an update on that. I have some cauliflower plants. My friend started these actually for me. Cabbage, this is cabbage. She likes using the red solo cups, which is a great idea. See, she pokes holes in the bottom and then you sit it in a wet tray when you start them out. They really need to be moved out of these cups, I think. But we'll see. I wanted to experiment and see if I just kept kind of doing like a hydroponic almost. Keep them fed, see what they will do. And so far they're doing fine. I did end up potting up or putting in soil. There's 2 plants in here. This guy was really long, so the base of the plants right here, I laid the stem in there and covered it, and it's doing just fine. Look, it's even got new growth. Likes it right here. And there's one I planted in a deep container because that plant was so tall, and it's doing pretty well. Because I literally could talk your ear off about every plant that's in here. I want to end today's video on this beautiful Sonnetti. I keep sharing this on my blog and on my YouTube page. It's just so pretty. I'm going to actually get some really good photos of it right now for you, video showing you what it's doing in here, and I love it. It's going to be now, besides how well some of the geraniums respond in here, and borage, Sonnetti is definitely a must-have if you like flowers in your greenhouse or this type of growing space, and I'm going to show you why right here. Here it is. So pretty. Thanks for checking out my video today. Be sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and of course send questions, comments, feedbacks to my blog as well at brenhaas.com. I hope to see you there. Thanks guys. Happy New Year.